Good morning. I think I'm live. I am just going to check my profile to see if I am in fact live, because I'm using an app today, so I can share my screen with you. Yes, I'm live. Okay, fantastic. That's great. Thank you. I can see the hearts coming in. Drop me a quick message if you're with me so I can give you a quick hello. That would be amazing. I'm just going to hop back to my live. Here we go. Right. Okay. Thank you. Lisa, hi. And you inspired this live today. I want you to know something about what you posted triggered my higher self to say, we need to start talking about this. And, you know, that's probably the reason why you posted it. There's always a higher reason for absolutely everything that's going on in the world at the moment, including all the fear. And this is why I really wanted to jump onto this and let's start talking about it. So, firstly, I can hear the dog barking, but just ignore it. I will ignore it if you can ignore it. Okay. Peter, hi. Michelle, Jan, Teresa. Great to have you guys here. All right. No further ado. I will come back to comments at intervals, so I'm not constantly back and forward all the time. Carla, great to see you as well. All right. So I just want you to bring yourself and be really present with me at the moment. Just really bring yourself into my world and just trust that everything that we are witnessing right now has a higher purpose, has a reason. Now, I follow quite a few channels and astrologers, and, you know, I do follow a lot of the esoteric stuff that's going on because I think it's important. There are things happening at the moment that we don't know about, and whether that's on a physical level with court cases that are happening right now, with everything that's going on behind the scenes. There's global court cases, there's national court cases. Now, I don't have a lot of faith in the judicial system, I will admit that, but whatever is going to happen with these, we're moving closer and closer to the truth each time, and you have to bear that in mind. Now, to share what Lisa shared, if you haven't seen it on her post, do go and have a look. But it was basically, it's from a company who work for the NHS, and as we know, the NHS, they're all a part of this. I'm not saying the nurses and doctors, some are, I would say. Some, I would say, know what's going on and are a part of it. But I would say for the most part, some are just completely in ignorance. And but there are also many who are now waking up. And I think if you turn around to most nurses, paramedics, doctors, and tell them that, oh, you can't actually treat anybody who hasn't got the V tick on their V passport, what do you think they might do? How do you think they might react? Now, there's some that are completely indoctrinated, as we know, but I think I've always said this, the majority of people, no matter who they are, they're kind of just towing the line. Because they're told to, because they're being obedient, not because they necessarily believe exactly what's going on. Because, you know, we all know if there was a real pandemic, we'd be tripping over bodies and it would be, my God, 100 times worse than what we have witnessed so far. But I know I don't need to tell you guys that. So let's try and look at these things, you know, when they trigger you, because they do. When I saw that last night, it triggered me as well. And that's when this stuff starts coming in. I was laying awake in bed thinking, oh my gosh, there's so much I need to talk about. So we need to start saying, what's the higher perspective with what this is showing me? And certainly for me, it is the awakening of more and more people. It is also showing us that they are pushing this. They are pushing this fear agenda. And there's another reason why they do that. It's because they know that we are the master creators. And this is where you guys, you've got to reel back that fear and really take ownership of this that we have. You really have to start to understand that when I'm saying we are the divine, we are divine beings. We are the creation and the creators. It's not woo-woo crap. I used to say, oh, it's a bit woo-woo. But actually, the more and more we have progressed down this line, it's not woo-woo crap. This is who we are. And this is the Great Awakening. This is the true Great Awakening. The darkness, the rabbit holes, the truths that are coming out. That's just one side of it. The biggest secret, and I know is the film The Secret, where this kind of, I suppose it kind of started a ball rolling with The Secret. I mean, didn't really explain too well how we, become these master manifestors, but that is who we are. And we manifest, not, they say, oh, your thoughts become things. It's a bit deeper than that. Your thoughts create an emotion. Emotion is energy. Okay, so if your thought is saying, I'm a millionaire, but your energy is going, I'm poor as fuck, then, you're not going to have that connect. And this is why they are trying to keep you in fear. Okay, they are trying to get you to manifest what they want. And that is the whole point of the fear agenda. So what I want to share with you, this is something I learned a few years ago. Some of you will probably have seen this, and some of you, it will be completely new to you. So let me just share my screen. Hang on, screen a second. And there we go. Yes, I'm, wrong thing. Hang on. It's not showing the screen I'm on. Just bear with me a second. You gotta love the tick. Okay. Current application. There, that's what I wanted to share with you. All right, so this is what's called the scale of consciousness, and it was created by a guy called Dr. David Hawkins, and he was a kinesiologist, which is where you do this muscle testing to work out whether something's true, because your body holds most of the wisdom. More wisdom than you hold in your brain is actually held in your body. We have wisdom at cellular level, and in particular in the heart. We have gut intelligence. We have heart consciousness. And the brain is actually, if you like, it's the translator. It's the receiver. And it's the thing we use to overthink and allow the fear to overcome us. And I want you to look at this and understand there are contracted states. And notice when you look at these words, I'm sorry if it's on a mobile and it's a bit small, I'll run through it in a second. Notice as you go through these, notice if you feel those, how you even contract your body. If you're in a state of guilt or shame, if you notice it's this, isn't it? It's this kind of low, you contract your shoulders, you slump. Whereas, when you're in joy, love, peace, it's this expansion, and it's a physical thing as well as this conscious feeling, this energetic feeling. So he actually attributed different values to these different states of consciousness, to these different emotions. And you can see fear is actually down here at 100. It's actually higher than guilt or shame. And anger, you see, this is one I do talk about. Anger is higher. And you might think, well, I would have thought would have been a lower one. Anger is highly motivational. If you're angry about something, but you're bringing consciousness to that anger, it motivates you to do something. And that's why it's a higher level. But courage here, we have courage. I always call this the gateway emotion. Now think, guys, think how much courage you guys have had lately, this last year, by standing in your truth and putting yourselves out there and putting yourselves out to ridicule and, people getting mad at you and, but standing up for you, standing up for what you believe in and your truth and what you believe is your truth. How much courage has that taken? Now that courage is opening that door wide open to these higher levels of consciousness. Neutrality is really where you don't feel anything. It's kind of that you can be in a neutral place where you're not feeling happy, you're not feeling sad. I sometimes sit there, and it's a good place because at state of neutrality, you can choose. Okay, you can choose which way you want to go, and it's easy then to jump into a higher state of consciousness, or you could choose to listen to a fear narrative and drop down. So, when you're in this state, obviously choose wisely. at this point, I want to address that there's nothing wrong with feeling shame, guilt, apathy. You really want to come out of guilt and shame as much as you can, because that is really self-torture, and understand that it doesn't serve you in any way at all. It really doesn't serve you. You know, if you feel guilty about something that maybe you did by accident, it's happened. You feeling guilty doesn't change anything, but actually taking action steps to maybe try and fix things, that might. So, but what I want to say is we are human beings, and this is a spectrum. This is a spectrum. We are full spectrum human beings, and we feel all these emotions. And I get a lot of the love and light brigade who are like, oh, just be high vibe all the time. If you're not willing to face the lower emotions and actually say, what is this, bringing up in me? This is what we call the shadows, the shadow work that we do. If you are just spiritually bypassing, you're not going to actually reach those higher vibrational states, because it's always there. And the only way you move through this is to actually be courageous enough to sit in it and cry and get angry and, just allow it to pass through you without the criticism of, well, if I do this, then, or, the love and light brigade saying, well, you've lost control, or whatever it is, right? The key here is awareness. It's bringing that conscious awareness to where you are at. Now, there was a time when I was in all of these most of the time. I would certainly say I was in the victim state. This is going back a few years. But I wasn't aware. I just wasn't aware at all of where I was at on the emotional scale, or that, what was going on. I was just completely unconscious. And you know what? That's okay too. That is where most people are. And what we're doing is bringing consciousness. Okay, as soon as you bring consciousness and awareness to everything, right? That's when we start to unstitch it all. That's when we start to grow. That's when, even if we feel like we're feeling angry, we're still holding a higher vibration, because we're bringing awareness and we're saying, I'm going to allow this to just pass through me, do what I need to do, cry, but I'm not going to live here. And you just make that statement, I'm going to allow this for today, but I'm not going to live here. And it's so important. It's so important to have that awareness, because otherwise also it can then just go on for days. Anyway, moving on. What I really want to show you is how the growth between fear, or the lower consciousnesses, and the higher ones is an exponential growth. That's why this is demonstrated in a cone, because it's not just a linear jump to these higher states of consciousness, it's exponential. And the reason why it's really important to understand this, why we say you want to be in love or above, you want to be in love, joy, enlightenment, maybe maybe for a moment every now and again, but for the most point we can certainly aim for love and joy. And we do that by coming together. But I want to point out, this is why we are most powerful when we are in these higher states. Okay, so fear is radiating out energy at 100. Then at love, it's 500. So we are 5 times more powerful with our energy. So I have the power of 5 people who are living in fear. Okay, that's why. And actually, as we come together and, decide we're going to do this together, we're going to have these visions together, we're going to consciously create our futures together, that then it becomes even more exponential. It's not just 1 + 1 is 2. It's a synergy. So 1 + 1 = 5. If you see what I mean, with the way energy works. So this is why we don't need as many people in the population to be in this state of awareness, to be in these higher levels of consciousness, to create a shift. And that's really important, that you understand that you on your own are powerful, but when we come together, we're unstoppable and we have the power. So hope that helps. What I want to do just afterwards, I want to do a heart coherence, because when you understand how heart coherence works, it's connecting consciousness to your brain. Okay, so it's connecting consciousness, thinking, and then you use your brain to steer where you want a vision to go, but the energy is coming from your heart. And we are electromagnetic beings. We have this massive field that comes out of our hearts. And that's why I always do a heart coherence before doing a visualization. So we're going to do a very, very quick visualization after this. But I'm just going to go through the comments first. So, wow, lots and lots of comments. Right, yes, Carla. Trudy, hi. Deanne, hi. Susie, hi. Two Susies, Susie Cameron, Susie Tate. Sarah Homer, hi. Tom, lovely to see you. Oh, you're taking me into the shower. Lovely. Okay, Sarah, you were really triggered yesterday as well. And do you know what? I think there's weird energetics at the moment. Where I said it's going to get bumpy, all the astrologers are saying this month's going to be a bumpy month. It's actually sort of June, July onwards. Apparently things are supposed to start getting better. But the more we can see through the chaos and through the bumpiness and actually bring that higher awareness to them and actually say, okay, that's what they're saying, because that's what they want us to manifest. Nah, we're not going to do that. we're not going to succumb to it. And I just want you to bear in mind how many millions are awake in this country alone, in the UK. Okay, we know there were between 700,000 and 1.2 million. That was the estimate from the police from our march. And we all know probably half a dozen people who couldn't make the march for whatever reason. So when you think that's probably around 10% in this country alone who are wide awake, who know what's going on, who see through it. Now take that globally. You can probably guess that would be a relative figure globally as well. And 10% is more than enough for us to tip these scales in our direction. So bear that in mind. Subtitles. Do I have subtitles? Oh, okay. I didn't know that. There you go. Let me just switch back to me so you can see me. Hello. Teresa, yeah, absolutely. Oh my God, the tech. I know. Do you know, I've had this for years. I started doing lives back in 2016 when it was all brand new. So I have the tech. DNA, all the answers are in the double helix. Yeah, and you know, we can talk about DNA, we can talk about light energy. You know, we see only the spectrum of colours. Where I talked about the spectrum of emotions, well, talking about the spectrum of colours, what comes to us in light energy from the sun, there's so much more information, right, in the light. And this is why you hear the astrologers saying we're passing through a photon belt at the moment. The light is really powerful. The channelers are saying it. The light is really powerful. That's why they don't want us out in the sunshine. So make sure you're getting sun, whether it's a bad day or not. And if it's cloudy, you can look straight at the sun. Okay. But there's all this information, and the information is filtering into our bodies, and that's what's giving us these upgrades. That's what the awakening is coming from. That's why all of a sudden more and more people are becoming more consciously aware. It's the light. And I know, again, this sounds kind of woo-woo. I've actually been reading a book on it. It's completely fascinating. But when you think the colour spectrum that we can actually see and that we deem as real life is a tiny percentage of the overall light spectrum. So we are streaming in all this light, and sorry, I digressed a little bit, but we have dark DNA. So this is coming back to the DNA. Photons actually become attracted to your DNA and start lighting it up. Right, this is what is called the junk DNA. It's the dark DNA, but they call it junk DNA. And what is happening, our DNA is beginning to light up. It's beginning to remember who we are. Okay, it's been made dormant. I don't know if this was purpose. I don't know. We had this fall from grace at some point in history of forgetting who we are. But we are going through remembrance right now. And that's really important. So if you are feeling stuff that's not yours, because that's what I've been feeling the last few days, stuff that isn't mine. It could be the collective you're feeling. You're more empathic now than you were before. Or there's just something. I had vertigo, really bad vertigo. I was literally staggering from side to side like I was on a ship. And I just thought, okay, there's something up in the energy at the moment, whether it's the cosmic field or the collective field, but we are all part of the unified field. So don't forget that. So whatever is affecting the energies, we are feeling it. And it could be just another upgrade. That could be what it is. Right, okay. Sorry, this could be a long live. I do apologise. Yes, you stand up for what you believe in, for sure. Absolutely, Lisa. Yeah, we can see that. You absolutely stand in your beautiful truth, and no doubt. Yeah, you have to face your dark. Absolutely, you have to. How can you understand what's going on? How can you really embrace the light if you don't embrace the darkness? It's like we have these spectrum of emotions. How can you appreciate joy and love if you haven't experienced sadness and grief, right? So we have to really delve into our darkness, but we also have to recognize when we are triggered by fear, and that's bringing in that consciousness, because sometimes you'll be triggered by fear and you go, oh, hang on a second, that's fear. And as soon as you do that, boom, your consciousness, your vibration shoots through the roof, because you realize all of a sudden, hang on, I'm the one in control here, not them. Right? And that's what they're frightened of. Stephen Seagull, also known as Hari. Were you Hari Krishna as well? I think you were. Disseminate the knowledge, the new lifestyle, the new frequency to the rest of the population. Yeah, this is all the stuff we really need to know. You know, we've done the rabbit holes, we've done the truthing, and I kind of feel I've been put here to really help you go that next step in understanding who you are. Right? You're a divine badass, to coin an American term. And that was demonstrated in London. Yeah, the masses are waking up. They are. Joe, I'm really stuck with a massive lump of fear in my chest, and I think it's because I feel weak physically due to health, and I'm afraid I cannot physically protect my kids if I need to. How do I shift this? Do I sit in it to shift it? Okay, so you've actually said what your fear is there. And your fear is protecting your children, something I can absolutely relate to. Now, you can't protect them when you are sat in this fear, because it paralyzes you. Okay, so how do you shift it? Yes, you do have to sit in it. And I recommend you sit quietly with yourself, and you be loving with yourself, and you rest as much as you need to, because it's exhausting actually when you're in fear all the time. And sometimes just resting, giving yourself permission to rest, but you're recognizing that it's fear, right? And that is a massive first step, just that awareness, because once you're aware that I'm in this state of fear. But what I want you to realize, Joe, is that's not where the story ends. And this is where you do need to work on yourself and shift. And I hope when I do the vision at the end of this, it will help you reach that, and it will give you a tool that you can use to really turn into a state of love. Like I say, without bypassing, we mustn't bypass. Our kids are always our Achilles heel, always. And whenever I fall apart, it's because I'm terrified for their future. But then I just reel it back in and I go, actually, it's up to me to create a better future for them. And this can be in small stuff. Sometimes just regaining your control can be small stuff. For me, it's just becoming a little bit more self-sufficient. It's connecting with the like-minded people and connect with them physically. Get to those stand in the parks near you. They're brilliant. I've met so many people who live locally to me who are awake. That just empowers you even more, because you realise you're not physically alone. This is what the marches are about to me. This is what the rallies are about to me. It's not about, because we know they're ignored on the media. We know they're ignored by the government. the idea is that we unite, and it's that energy that goes into the unified field. Okay, that is what's powerful. That's what's important. So do what you need to do to feel safe. And that is connecting with other people. That is realizing you're not on your own. I'll try and go into a bit more depth, but obviously I don't want to ramble on for too long here. Stephen, you have within your mighty power, anxious and willing to serve you, a power capable of giving you that which you earnestly desire. To get what you want is no more mysterious or uncertain than the radio waves all around you. Yeah, tune in correctly and get a perfect result. But to do this, it is, of course, necessary to know something of your equipment and have a plan of operation. Oh, that was very deep. But that's what we need to do. That's where we need to start becoming more coordinated and more understanding that we have this power and bringing ourselves together and using it, right? And there's a lady called Lynn McTaggart, and she talks about the power of 8, that if you only have 8 of you with one intention, it creates a massive impact in the unified field. Now, I'm not sure how many I've got on this call. How many have I got on here? So there's 26 on this call at the moment. So if we all do this intention at the end of this, we do this unified visualization. That's powerful, guys. That's really powerful. And this is what I set my group up to do on Facebook, the one I can no longer post in. So I thought, well, I might as well just do it on my profile. It just makes sense, and get as many people doing this coherently as often as possible. Crikey, sorry, so many comments. Can I share the title of the book? I will post a picture of it after this because I can't remember the title. I take it you mean the light book, Teresa. Yeah. And Joe, you're saying, yes, I get this, empathy skills are off the chart at the moment. You also need to try and work out what is yours and what belongs to other people as well. And that will help you move through this as well. They rearranged your DNA in order to have you broadcast within a certain limited frequency band. Is that right? Okay. Whose frequency could feed them and keep them in power. Love it. Yeah, that's what they call the loosh, isn't it? It's the fear. They're powered by our fear. So as soon as we take that away from them, they become powerless. And as I said already, love and joy are the, below enlightenment, of course, are the highest frequencies. Okay. Yeah. Grief and love go hand in hand, Sarah. And absolutely. And they're completely, the more you love, they're completely, linked, aren't they? The more you love, the more grief you're going to feel. And if you think about grief in that way, it's kind of a beautiful thing, isn't it? That the more you grieve, it just shows how much you've loved. And I think if you can think that way, then you're bringing love to that grief. If you think that something that's triggered you and made you angry, and you can just bring love to that anger, and you can bring love to the fear, saying, I'm a human being. It just shows what a beautiful human being I am to feel these things. So, yeah. Compassion is feeling the pain of other and self. Absolutely. Des, I met you in the park. Yes, I met you. I met Sarah. I met a few of you. Christina, I already met just before everything shut down, didn't we, Christine? We were at a conference together. Christina's posted a spiritual proclamation, and Lisa, that's Tarot Angelorum, you're going to your first stand in the park on Sunday. Fantastic. I hope it's a busy one for you, because they are a lot of fun and you meet a lot of lovely like-minded people, which is wonderful. And you're going to one as well, Christina. Amazing. Joe, you love the stand in the park. Restart the group on VK. Yes, so just to mention this, I will do the visualization straight after this. So because this is a sad thing, Facebook, I love Facebook. I have loved Facebook for years. It allows me to do these amazing lives and connect with so many people. But it is getting to a point where we can't tolerate this censorship, this anymore, people getting banned, people losing their voices on here, that we need to move to another platform. So I'm on VK, I'm on Gab, and Telegram, of course. We need to make sure we keep in contact with each other. I recommend everyone doing backups where they can on these other platforms. Gab, of course, is completely free speech. VK, I have heard about censorship on there. That said, David Icke's on there. So I don't know how bad the censorship is. And obviously it's Russian as well. Not that I have anything against Russians, but there's a lot of Russian writing that's not easy to follow. So yeah, anyway. Yes, okay, so I think I'm at the end of the main comments there. Right, so guys, I'm just going to ask you again to come really present with me. VK is another social media, and it is, you just look up VK on your app store and you'll find it. Okay, right, come really present with me, and we're going to do a bit of deep breathing, and we're going to connect with our hearts. And I just want to say that when I ask you to do a visualization, just pick a moment that you can just visualize, that you can feel everything that's going on around you. Take it on. You know, your brain doesn't know the difference. Your heart doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. And we are gifted with beautiful imagination. So just go wild with it and be in that moment. And I will talk you through the entire process as we're doing it. All right, so let's just have a little shake first. I'm the only one looking silly here, but you can do it without anyone seeing you, unless you're on a bus or in public or something. Just shake. And this is a really good physical thing, just to shake off that energy. And Joe, you were talking about the fear. Sometimes you just need to really move around, shake it off, because it can feel stagnant sometimes. And just by moving physically, it's moving the energy. So that's what we're doing. And we're just going to take some big deep breaths, really sigh it out, really just get rid of all that energy of the day so far. So yeah, just let it all out. Good. Now we're just going to slow it down. We're going to bring it all back. Some deep breaths, 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out. 5 seconds in and out. And close your eyes. Breathe in and release. Breathe in and release. Okay, breathe normally now. Place your hand on your heart, on your chest area. Notice your heart beating. Just really tune into it for a moment. At this point, I usually go, hello, heart. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to love, for giving me the gift of consciousness. Thank you. And thank you for being a source of life, of this incredible energy. Thank you. Now I want you to bring to your mind a thing, a memory, something wonderful that just brings you into a place of love. It could be stroking your pet in your mind's eye. It could be, for me, I always go to my default, which is holding my baby boys for the first time and just looking at them in absolute wonder. But as you bring this thought to mind, it could be your wedding day. It could be just a moment that you were just stood in the sun and you just felt this eternal bliss come over you. But whatever it is, something that brings you love, a memory, an event that happened, a person, an animal, something that brings you this feeling of love. Really step into that thought. Feel the fur on your pet's body as you're stroking them. If it's a cat, the cat will be purring. Your dog will just be looking at you with those big soppy eyes. As I say, I always think about the first time I held my baby boys and that feeling of mother's love and peace just washing all over me in one go. This beautiful, joyful feeling. Really be in the moment. Notice how you feel. Notice what's around you in your imagination. Really bring it to life. See it clearly and feel the emotion. Feel that love. Feel your heart swelling up. And as you breathe now, you're just breathing in love and you're breathing out love. And the more you breathe the love out, the bigger, the more expansive that energy field is becoming. It's outside of you, it's outside of your house, it's moving outside of your town every time you breathe out that love energy. And now we're going to bring ourselves into a beautiful place. And we're going to bring it into our now. Our now. Our now. And I want you to bring to mind where you are stood in a beautiful place of your choice. I always love being out in nature. And we're amongst friends. We're amongst friends. And this is all over. And all we can feel is this love for each other. And we look at each other and we go, we did it. We did it. We woke up humanity. One by one, hearts were ignited. And people saw what was happening. And we stood together. And we did it. The sun is shining. And we can feel the warmth of it on our faces. And we can feel the love in our hearts for those other people standing around us, the nature that we're stood in. We watch our children and they're playing happily and they're safe. And it's the same for the children all over the world. They're safe, they're loved, they're nurtured. And we're in a place, we look out into the distance and we can see this strange mushroom-shaped construction, and it's a Tesla tower. We are now living in a time of free energy. There's no more wars, there's no more fighting. Every human being has energy, shelter, food, water, as a basic right. We have that. It comes freely to us. Everyone is safe. We now get to share our gifts with the world. We only work to serve others, and we do it out of joy and out of love. The world is this beautiful place. We've never been more unified, more connected, and more radiating in love. It's here, now. This is happening right now. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for showing us the darkness so that we could see what needed to be overcome. Thank you for bringing it to the light so that it could no longer work. Thank you. Thank you for all the wake-up calls along the way, and for the continuing wake-up calls for the people who still aren't quite seeing it yet. They will continue to get bigger and bigger until more and more people wake up. Thank you. Thank you. It's what's needed to waken up the masses. Thank you. And I'm just going to bring you back into yourself now. And you can open your eyes when you're ready. Ooh. I hope that helped. I hope you enjoyed that. I can still see there's still 22 of us on the call. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being in that visualization with me. We just joined up together in the unified field. And we've just made that visualization more real. And we need to come together and do this more often. And if you watch this on the replay. Don't think that your energy has missed out on this visualization. In the unified field, there's no such thing as time. So whenever you watch this, whenever you do this visualization, it will come back to this moment and it will expand it even more. It's a beautiful thing. It's a timey-wimey thing, as Doctor Who would say. Oh, wow. Thank you, guys. Just look at your comments. Oh, you are all so, so very welcome. And I hope when you do these heart coherences, right, even if you just do the beginning part where you bring a memory and you connect with your heart, if you just do that, you are now in a high vibration. That will radiate for the next 6 to 8 hours. Unless something shocks you out of it, you are going to be in that place for the next 6 to 8 hours. So it's powerful just for that. I always do it for visualizing and just that gratitude, you know, just bringing that gratitude in as well. It's so powerful. And this is what we are learning. This is what we are learning, is that we are the powerful ones. We are the creators. We are the manifestors. We have got this. Ah, Joe, thank you. That will be my visualization from now on, and my children and the world's children are free and safe. Yeah. Sarah, you sobbed. Oh, thank you. You're all tingly. I know. Do you know, I do this for me as much as I do it for you guys. And I'm thinking on my profile, maybe I'll do this several times a week, and we'll just all hop on together and raise our vibrations together and have these powerful visualizations. Yeah. Thank you, Jan. You're welcome. Liz, you're welcome. Everyone. Yeah. Teresa, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm going to let you go now. Take care and have an amazing, wonderful, empowered, creative day. I love you.